Hello, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're gonna do something just a little bit different. So a couple of weeks ago, the hippie crafter reached out to me and asked if they could send me some products. And I was like, sure, absolutely, I will take it. But when I received it, I was like super excited because this is right up my alley. So they sent me a box of 24 jars of pigment. So I love me some pigment. You can see right back over here, those are all of my jars of pigment. Love pigment. So they sent me this little box of 24 jars of pigment, and they sent me this huge pack of 11 by 14 black canvas. And I have never seen black canvas before, so I was like super intrigued. So I figured that for today's video, we are going to take the Mica Pigments and we are going to make some shimmery watercolor. So the mica is like the sparkly metallic watercolors or pigment that you can make watercolor out of. So I'm going to take a couple of jars. We're going to make some watercolor out of that, and then we're going to use that watercolor on our black canvas. I'm super excited. Also, we're gonna have a giveaway, so stay tuned to the end so that you'll find out how to enter the giveaway and what the giveaway is, because I'm gonna give away some of that paint that we're going to be making. So fun times. All right, let's get started. So the box comes with 24 little jars of this beautiful set of micas, and there are so many colors. Right now we're only going to pick 4, so I'm going to pick like just 4 at random, but look at all of these gorgeous colors. Beautiful. So we're going to be using this red. We're going to be using like a red, a teal, a purple, and a pink. And yeah, so let's get started. So right now I am setting up my tools. I make my own binder. For those of you who don't know me, I have a small business called The Sprout Creative, and I make handmade sketchbooks and paintings, and a huge part of my business is the handmade watercolors. So I have my own binder and everything, and all of my old tools already set up. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to take this in really small amounts, and right now I'm just mixing my binder into the mica. This red one, for some reason, took quite a long time to blend in. The other ones were pretty easy. This one took a really long time, and mulling it was fairly simple. It was, you know, there was nothing crazy or special that stood out about it. It mulled just like all the other mica. The only difficulty I had was actually mixing it in with the blender. And it did not affect the quality of the paint at all. This red ended up being a little bit more transparent than the other ones, but it's just as beautiful as the other ones. So I'm just gonna leave you here with a little tiny montage of me you know, making this paint, and then we'll move on to the next step. It's the next day. The pans aren't completely dried. I just put a second layer on them so that they'll be nice and full. So I'm going to be working from these samples that I made, and all it is just the watercolor dried on watercolor paper. And we are going to be working on this canvas. I have my jug of water here, or my jar of water here. And the first thing that we're going to do is swatch out the colors just to see how they reactivate, how it looks on black, and we'll also do a little bit of swatching. Actually, let's do a little bit of swatching first here on the white paper so we could do a quick comparison. This is the red and the purple. Let me just add some water droplets to all of them to activate them. When you are using shimmery watercolor or metallic watercolor, you should activate them by adding some water just for a couple of seconds. Doesn't have to be, you know, anything longer than that. We just want to give it a chance for the binder to melt a little and for the mica to loosen up. The bigger the particles of mica, the more water you will have to add in the beginning. And the sparkliest of them all is this pink one. It is beautiful. Let me allow that to dry real quick and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's dry. Here we go. You can see that the red, the top one, is not quite as sparkly and shimmery as the other ones. The bottom one, the pink one, is super sparkly. Let me turn on a light here and see if I can shine it on there and show you what it looks like. So you can see that the pink is extremely sparkly, as well as the purple. The red, not so much, but there are, you know, varying degrees of shimmer when you're working with them. And now we're going to go ahead and swatch them out on our canvas. Then we'll just swatch them out right up here. Let me move this down a little and see how vibrantly they show up. Sometimes on black paper, you may have to go over the swatch more than once, and that's okay. It just depends on how transparent the shimmer actually is. It's not a fault of the paper or the canvas. But as you can see, these, the bottom ones, the purple, the green, blue, the tealish, and let's see, the pink, are extremely vibrant. Extremely vibrant. I'm also going to do another swatch next to it where we're going to give it 2 coats so that we can see the difference. As you can see, the second coat really did brighten it up a bit. If you put the light on it, it kind of drowns the color out. So let me give you a quick close-up of that. You can really see it with the red, how intense it got. And so yeah, if you layer both of them, if you put 2 layers over them, it will be a lot more intense if you're looking for that intensity. And now let's do a bit of experimenting. I want to do a little bit of mixing and see what that looks like. I have my trusty circle maker here, and I am going to draw a circle, and we are going to mix the colors in and see what they look like. I'm gonna go and grab a bigger brush. So where before to swatch them, I was using a size 6 pigeon letters brush, I am going up to a size 8 pigeon letters brush. And we're just gonna start by mixing some of these colors in and seeing how they all look nice and mixed in. And we'll see if we go ahead and add another layer onto them. Let's do a little shimmery circle galaxy. and we're mixing the colors in. Now you have to keep in mind when you are working with shimmery watercolors, mica, metallics, they don't mix as traditionally or as well as regular watercolors do. You're going to find that there's going to be lots of separation between the colors. They kind of stay where you put them. And you have to kind of manipulate them if you want them to actually start mixing and mingling together. You're going to have to do that manually. So as you can see here, the red is kind of staying where you put it. If you want it to mix in, you're just going to have to manually mix that in and make it a nice like little red purplish color there. Let's start throwing in some of this pink. And the pink is extremely, extremely sparkly. And you can see that I'm using a lot of water, and that is quite purposeful because on canvas, it's even more difficult to use watercolor on canvas. The water usually just likes to chill out on top of the canvas, but we always use that to our advantage. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a few seconds. So I'm mixing in the pink and the purple there. And of course my circle isn't perfect. That's okay. So now I'm going to lift up my canvas and push some of that color along. Let's grab some more red. And I'm going to push some of that color along, let it all mix together. Move it in different directions. You can see here that the color is just kind of mixing together on its own. And the more water I add, the more mixing it's going to do. I'm going to add some of that purple. Since the red is not as bright and opaque as the other colors, I'm just mixing it in with the other colors. You'll notice that the green, the purple, and the pink are a lot more opaque than the red. The red is very transparent. So if you're looking for like a nice light shimmery red, I feel like this is the perfect red. And finally, let's add some green in here. Just mixing it all in. Turn it around. Continue to mix it in. And just turn it in different directions. To mix all the colors in. All right, I really like the way that looks, but right now I'm going to add a little bit of red to certain areas and just splotch it in because we are really heavy on the pink. I'm sorry, we're really heavy on the purple and we're really heavy on the green. So I'm going to throw in some red and let it mix on its own. That's the best thing that you can do with mica, is to just kind of let it mix on its own. All right, so we are going to allow this to dry and see what it looks like. We should take this a little further. But before we do, look at how beautiful and shiny that is. And if you run your fingers through it, it's perfect. I do suggest, if you are going to be using watercolor on canvas, that you seal your piece afterwards with an acrylic sealer. But before we get to that part, let's add a little bit of splatter to it. We all know how much I love my splatter. We'll add some to the outside of the canvas. Give it a nice little look. How about some to the inside too? That's okay. Just gives it, the splatter always gives it just a little bit extra oomph. All right. So this is the final piece, experimental piece, using our brand new Mica watercolors. And as you can see, I used quite a bit of the red because it was pretty transparent, but I still have a ton of the purple, green, and the really beautiful sparkly pink left. So I'm going to call this one a success. The watercolor pans aren't completely dry yet, so I'm going to insert some footage of when they dry, and I am going to talk about the giveaway next. But if you are interested in purchasing this mica set, it's a really good price for, you know, experiments. You can use them in just about anything. You can use them in your resin. I just happen to be a watercolor paint maker, so I decided that, hey, it's best for me to use them in watercolor and make them into watercolor and see what it looks like. So I hope that you enjoyed this, and who knows, I'm definitely going to hold on to this so that I can experiment with other pieces, and I have a ton of these canvases left over, so it's time to start making some art. If you enjoyed that whole process, thank you so much to the Hippie Crafter for reaching out and sending me these amazing products. And now what you've all been waiting for, right? Like the giveaway. It's time for the giveaway. So for anyone who would like to win, I'm giving away 3 sets of the colors that I made. If you would like to win or take part in the giveaway, all you have to do is leave a comment down below, like the video, and in your comment, somewhere in the comment, put your Instagram handle on it. So 1, I can check that you're a real person and not a bot. And 2, I'll have a way of, you know, reaching out to you somewhere other than here. It's the easiest way. It's the easiest way. So in your comment, put your Instagram handle. I will pick a winner next week, 1 week from today, and I will contact you here and or over on Instagram. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of these other ones, and I'll see you all next time.